Hello, my name is Brett Spence, and today we'll be talking about the King's German Legion. The Elector of Hanover was in a personal union with Great Britain due to the King George I becoming King of Great Britain, which forced Britain to defend their continental holding when France invaded Hanover in the 26th of May 1803, and on July 5th, the Elector of Hanover was dissolved, and as a result of this, the Hanoverian army was disbanded. With the Hanoverian army disbanded, many officers and soldiers fled to Britain, and a group of patriotic officers, sponsored by Prince Adolphus, Duke of Cambridge, set about recruiting a force of volunteers from Hanover to serve the British Crown. A flood of recruits joined the King's German Regiment, but was renamed to the King's German Legion on 19th of December 1803 when Colonel Friedrich von Decken added cavalry and artillery. At its height, it had 28,000 men serving the Legion. The Legion never fought as an autonomous unit, so elements of the Legion would participate in many battles. The King's German Legion would be in the Battle of Copenhagen, where the Legion was a part of the army under General Lord Cathcart, and would fight the Danes at the Battle of Krog under General Arthur Wellesley. The Battle of Copenhagen would end when the Danish fleet surrendered to the British fleet. The 2nd Hussars and 2 light battalions of the Legion participated in the Wallachian campaign. The campaign was an attempt to seal the mouth of the Scheldt River to prevent the port of Antwerp to be used as a base against the British and destroy the French navy at Lushing. The British sent 39,000 men under the command of Lord Chatham and 616 ships under the command of Sir Richard Stratton. This was the largest British expedition of the year and was even larger than armies serving in Portugal at the time. On the 30th of July 1809, the British army captured the swampy island of Wallachian, where they soon fell to sickness, which they called Wallachian fever, and within a month 8,000 cases of fever were reported, and the medical provisions for the expedition proved to be inadequate, despite reports that the occupying French forces had lost 80% of its numbers a few years earlier, also due to disease. On August 10th, the French reinforcements arrived, led by Marshal Bernadotte, and turned the motley garrison force into an effective fighting force, but the British captured Flushing on the day he arrived, so Bernadotte ordered the French fleet to retreat to Antwerp and had also heavily reinforced the city, with the main objective for the British now out of reach. The expedition was called off, and the British started to withdraw, leaving a garrison on Wallachian, but they will abandon the island on the 23rd of December due to disease. The King's German Legion would fight in the Peninsular War. We will not cover every battle that the Legion took part in, but we are going to talk about the Battle of Garcia Hernandez, mainly due to an unusual feat that happened in the battle. After the Duke of Wellington won the Battle of Salamanca, General Brooks' Heavy Cavalry Brigade pursued the French and was supported by General Anson's Light Cavalry Brigade. When the Anglo-German cavalry approached, the French cavalry fled, and General Foy arranged his 8 battalions into a square formation on the hills of Garcia Hernandez. The Dragoons charged a square belonging to a battalion of the 6th Light Regiment. The French held their fire too long, and when they fired their volley, they killed a number of horsemen, but one horse clashed into the French square, creating a gap which the Dragoons exploited, and they broke up the square, and most of the men surrendered. The second square, further up the hillsides, was shaken when they saw the Dragoons break through the square. When the Dragoons charged them, they quickly won for their lives, except those who surrendered. When Foy saw this, he ordered the rest of his troops to retreat. Anderson's horsemen mopped up the rest. The King's German Legion was at the Battle of Waterloo with the 2nd Light Battalion, part of the 1st Light Battalion, and were supported by the 1st Battalion, 2nd Regiment, Nassau Regiment. The White Company of the 5th Line Battalion of the King's German Legion were assigned to protect La Haye Sainte from the French. We'll only talk about the actions at La Haye-Sainte, rather than the Battle of Waterloo, which will be talked about at a later date. Delaun's corps surrounded La Haye-Sainte but took heavy casualties from the garrison. As the centre of Wellington's line began to give way and La Haye-Sainte became vulnerable, Wellington sent Picton's division to plug the gap, but Thomas Picton died during the bayonet charge. But the British beat back the French, and with Somerset's and Ponsonby's heavy cavalry charge, relieving pressure from La Haye-Sainte. At 6 p.m, Marshal Ney, with heavy support from artillery and some cavalry, took personal command of the 13th Light Infantry Regiment, and a company of engineers attacked La Haye-Sainte, and after a fierce battle, they took the farmhouse, with the garrison forced to retreat due to them running out of ammunition. With the farmhouse under French control, the Imperial Guard was able to attack Wellington's centre, but when the Imperial Guard routed and the Prussians coming from the east, they retreated from La Haye-Sainte. In 1816, the King's German Legion was disbanded and its units were integrated into the new Hanoverian army. If you like this video, like and subscribe. See you next time.